This was the warm-up for today. Name all the special angle relationships involving parallel lines, and your list should consist of these five, right? Corresponding angles are congruent. Alternate interior angles are congruent. Alternate exterior angles are congruent. Same side interior and same side exterior angles are supplementary. And then I went ahead and I labeled one example of each. Okay. So today what we're going to talk about is how to prove two lines are parallel. Okay. Two lines are parallel if and only if one of these angle relationships happen. Okay. So the statement that we have for today, or the way that we're going to prove it, is if two lines are cut by transversal, remember CBT is cut by transversal, and one of these angle relationships exists, then the two lines are parallel. Okay, that's the only way. So we only have five reasons, right? If two lines are cut by transversal and corresponding angles are congruent, alternate interior angles are congruent, alternate exterior angles are congruent, same side interior angles are congruent, and same side exterior angles are congruent, right? There's only five of them. Then the lines are parallel. Okay. So here's our first proof. Okay. Write a two-column proof of this. We're given that lines L and M are cut by transversal T, and angle 1 is congruent to angle 2. So I'm going to write angle 1 is congruent to angle 2 because that's given. And all the way down here is line L is parallel to line M. And I know that the reason is going to be if two lines are cut by transversal and blank, I'm just going to go blank. Okay, because it's blank because I don't know yet. And something, then the lines are parallel. Okay? Does that make sense? And all I got to do is figure out that blank. Okay? So our job here is to showcase one of these five angle relationships exist. And once I do that, then we're good. Okay? So angle 1, we're given the fact that angle 1 and angle 2 are congruent, right? Because it's given to us. Is that it? Am I done? Why am I not done? What type of relationship does angle 1 and angle 2 have? They're alternate interior angles, correct? And they're congruent, correct? So I'm done. We're given the fact that angle 1 is congruent to angle 2, and this is my second step. Because if two lines are cut by transversal and alternate interior angles are congruent, then the lines are parallel. Yeah? That makes sense? Easy? Pretty simple. There's only two. Okay? The next one is this. So I'm going to give you guys some time to write it out. right? So we got AB bisects angle CAD, and angle 1 is congruent to angle 2, right? And we're going to prove that AD is parallel to BC. What else do I know? Yeah. Angle 1 is also equal to angle 3. Why is angle 1 and angle 3 equal to each other or congruent to each other?
Because it's an angle intersected by bisection.
Because I know the definition of angle bisector. Right? Now what? Yeah?
But how do you know that that line's not like on a different angle than the AC line?
Because I know AB bisects angle CAD.
What's that?
It cuts it in half. Yeah. Okay. What else do I know? Angle 1 is congruent to angle 2. Angle 1 is congruent to angle 3. What else do I know? Are they congruent right now? Is angle 2 congruent to angle 3? Yes? Why? Because of the transitive property. Yeah. Because we're given the fact that angle 1 is congruent to angle 2, right? We figured out this. Angle 1 is congruent to angle 3. If angle 1 is congruent to angle 2, angle 1 is congruent to angle 3, then angle 2 must be congruent to angle 3. Does that make sense? Yeah. And that is the transitive property. Okay. Now, if angle 2 and 3 are congruent, does that tell me that the two lines are parallel? Yes. Why? Because if two lines are cut by transversal and what? Alternate interior angles are congruent, right? Because they are alternate interior. Correct? Yeah, they're alternate interior angles and they're congruent. Therefore, the lines are parallel. Okay? So my second step, I'm just going to cut and paste, is this guy here, right? With this as my reason. My third step is this, with this as my reason. And then I have step 4, step 3, step 2, step 3, step 4 is here. Because if two lines are cut by transversal and alternate interior angles are congruent, then the lines are parallel. That makes sense? Yeah. So I'm just proving that one of these angle relationships exists. Okay? If I prove one of these angle relationships exist, then I know that the lines are parallel. Okay? Next one. AD and BC, because that's my proof statement. Angle 1 is congruent to angle 8. and angle 5 is congruent to angle 7. Okay? And that's given, right? So if angle 1 and angle 8 are congruent, what do I know?
Five and four are congruent
Why?
because alternate interior.
I don't know that those two lines are parallel yet, though.
Because they're a linear pair.
So angle 5 and angle 1 are linear pairs, and 4 and 8 are linear pairs?
Well, yeah, but if angle 8 and angle 1 are congruent, then that means the other side of the linear pair is congruent.
Yes, that's why. But that's not going to help me here. What is going to help me? What do I know? If angle 1 and angle 8 are equal to each other, Milo? Yes, they're alternate interior, but I don't know that they are congruent yet because line M and line K are not parallel. I don't know that they're parallel yet. Yes, I know that the lines are parallel, right? Because if two lines, I'm talking about lines M and line K are cut by a transversal line T, and alternate interior angles are congruent, angle 1 and angle 8, right? Then the lines are parallel. So we basically prove that lines M is parallel to line K because if two lines are cut by transversal and alternate interior angles are congruent, then the lines are parallel, right? I think I need more space. So if those two lines are parallel, do I know? Oh, actually, I don't need more space. Do I already know this? Why? Because now that I know that these two lines are parallel, right? I know corresponding angles are congruent. I know same side interior angles are supplementary. I know same side exterior angles are supplementary. I know all of these 5 angles exist, right? Because I know that those two lines are parallel. So I can just put corresponding angles are congruent. Make sense? Yeah? Okay. My next proof is here. So we have this as our proof. Angle 1 and angle 2 are congruent. Angle 4 is congruent to angle 5. We got to prove that PQ is parallel to RS, right? So I'm going to start off with my given statement. Angle 1 is congruent to angle 2. Angle 4 is congruent to angle 5 because it's given. Right? And I know all the way down here at the end of it, it's going to be RS is parallel to PQ, because if two lines are cut by transversal and I don't know what the blank is, blank, then the lines are parallel, right? So all we got to do is to show that one of these angle relationships exists. Okay, that's our job. Okay? How about this? I'm gonna approach this a little bit differently. Okay? We know information about angle 1 and angle 2 and angle 4 and angle 5. Right? Let's assume, big word, assume. Okay, important word, assume that they are parallel. Okay, let's assume that that is true. The proof statement is true. We know that the two lines are parallel. What do I know? Thank you. Yes, they're vertical angles, but if the lines are parallel, what angles are congruent and why? What angles are congruent? Alex. Why?
They are alternate interior.
Yes, they're alternate interior angles, right? Angle 1 and angle 5 are alternate interior angles, correct? Yeah? If those lines are parallel, then I know for a fact that angle 1 is congruent to angle 5, right? Yeah, if they were parallel. If the lines were parallel. But I gotta prove that. I don't know if they're parallel. Can I still prove that angle 1 is congruent to angle 5? If I can show that angle 1 is congruent to angle 5, if I can prove that, then I know that it's going to be alternate interior angles are congruent. Does that make sense? Yeah? So I changed my prove statement. Now that I got my last step, now I'm just going to prove this without the parallel lines. Without using parallel lines, I'm going to prove this. Does that make sense? So one of these reasons, the reason for knowing angle 1 is congruent to angle 5 is not going to be alternate interior angles are congruent. Right? Because I can't use that because I don't know that the lines are parallel yet. Does that make sense? Yeah? But I do know from the given statement that angle 1 is congruent to angle 2 and angle 4 is congruent to angle 5. And yeah. What else do I know? You already said it, but I somewhat just breezed by it because I didn't need it yet, but I need it now. No. You said it before. Angle 2 and angle 4 are vertical angles, right? Yeah, that's my missing link. Now I know that angle 1 and angle 2 are congruent, so then angle 1 is congruent to angle 5. You guys see that? physically, you guys see that because they all of these angles here have one tick mark. Right? That means that they're all equal to each other, right? Okay. So I can put down here that angle 2 is congruent to angle 4 because vertical angles are congruent. This is my third step. How do I know that? Let me build this. Angle 2 is congruent to angle 1. Or no, angle 1 is congruent to angle 2. Angle 2 is congruent to angle 4. Angle 4 is congruent to angle 5. Therefore, I know angle 1 is congruent to angle 5. Yes. The transitive property. Notice that I came to this conclusion without using the two parallel lines. Right? But now I know that angle 1 and angle 5 are alternate interior angles and they're congruent. Therefore, the lines are parallel. Does that make sense? Yeah? No? Just like this. Okay? Cool? Any questions?
What's the transitive property again?
The transitive property is, let's say, angle 1 is congruent to angle 2, right? Angle 2 is congruent to angle 3. Therefore, I know angle 1 is congruent to angle 3. Yeah? The ends will be equal to each other. Or something that's not there. So if I say angle 3 is congruent to angle 4, I can say angle 2 is congruent to angle 4. Right? I can say angle 1 is congruent to angle 4. Yeah? All of these are the transitive property. The way that I remember it is like a train. Yeah? All the carts are equal to each other. Right? In a train. But that's the lesson for today, class.